Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the 10th Annual Seattle Asian American Film Festival. My name is Catherine Mercedes Judge, and I'm an events manager with the festival. And I'm so excited to be in conversation with Seattle-based filmmaker and PhD student, Adrian Alarilla, on his film, Kung Saan Man Tayo, Wherever We May Be. Adrian, thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I really appreciate this time.
Absolutely. So first, I wanted to start with my gratitude to you for making this film, particularly as it feels like a universal story is for many members of the Filipino diaspora. Over 10% of the Filipino population in the Philippines, which is about 10 million and growing, has lived and worked abroad in recent years. And in my case, in my family, I live in the United States. My parents live in the Philippines. Many of my relatives live in the Bay Area, and a growing number of my cousins live in the Middle East. So the feeling of trying to create community every time you move and while staying connected to loved ones around the world really resonated with me. So I really appreciate your work with this film, and I'm excited to talk to you more about it.
Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you were able to draw so much from the film. And yeah.
So I'm curious, and I'm sure our audience is too, about what inspired you to make this film, and how did you keep the momentum going? How many years did it take you to make it?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So yes, Filipino migration is definitely a universal experience for a lot of Filipinos. Even if they don't migrate, they probably know someone who has migrated. But I do want to qualify my film. It's very much based on my own personal experience and the experiences of my friends as state scholars. Basically, our education was funded by the people of the Philippines during high school and in college. And when I migrated to the US, for the longest time, I've been carrying this guilt, right? Of like after other Filipinos have invested so much on my education, like what can I what do I have to give back to them? And um, that's something that I've been really reflecting on since I migrated to the US. And as I reconnect with my friends who were also state scholars, I also realized that not a few of them have also since migrated. And so I got kind of curious, what were their stories like of migrating elsewhere in the world, not just the US. And so in 2014, I did a Kickstarter and I sent my camera basically to my friends all over the world, and the camera itself was the one that circumnavigated, since I can't I can't go around, I can't afford to go around the world. Um, I I had my friends shoot their own stories, which ended up really, really interesting as well, and inspiring. Yeah.
So you started in 2014, and how long did post-production take for you? And just how long was the whole process?
Yeah. So the actual voyage itself took almost 2 years. There were a bunch of stops along the way. There were issues shooting or even securing someone to shoot their story in the Middle East. As you probably know, they don't necessarily have the freest of social climates, and a lot of my friends, became concerned about their place and position, their jobs there. So they many of them ended up backing out. So even though I wanted to capture, as many places as possible where Filipinos have been, it just wasn't uh, ideal of a climate at the time. And so the voyage finished around 2016, and then I started editing everything, and I basically had all of the footage all of this time. The individual segments took about a year to edit, and then after that I couldn't figure out how to put them all together, and I actually wasn't able to finish editing it until 2020 during the pandemic, like at my deepest moment of isolation and loneliness. I was like, I I have to figure out something to keep me connected. And I revisited the footage, and um, finally, during 2020, I also had a little bit of headspace to finish it all.
Absolutely. And I love how you frame that in terms of the beginning of the pandemic. We're also isolated. The whole theme, one of the themes rather, of your film is how we stay connected. And you were able, through the editing process, stay connected with your batchmates from the Philippines. And I know that they've been your friends for many years, but when you received that footage from them, was there anything that surprised you?
Yeah, definitely, because I basically knew most of them back in high school or college when we were still youngins, and then learning about their own struggles as young adults, elsewhere in the country, in the world rather. It was just so eye-opening, and also realizing that even though migration is such a universal part of the Filipino experience, it also shows up in different ways, and we all responded to migration stories in different ways as well. So yeah.
And was there anything that didn't make it into the film that you either want to share or wish did make it into the film, but you didn't want to have a 10-hour film? Because I'm sure 2 years of footage from, your friends from all around the world was a lot to sift through.
There is so many. There were so many moments that my friends captured that I wish um, I was able to include, and even parts from my own introduction. I shot I shot part of an introduction of the film in Seattle back in 2014, um, and when I revisited the footage, I completely scrapped that and just started from scratch. And I think that was the only way that the film could have ended up the way things were. I guess it was. I have to say that in 2020, I was also in Hawaii, trying to finish my coursework for my PhD, and so I think I wouldn't have been able to finish it all if I hadn't had that experience of migration. Um, as for my friends, like there were my friend in Canada interviewed a lot of people in Toronto, a lot of people in the Filipino community. Um, in My friend in Bangkok, she shot this whole Christmas party, celebrated, kind of Thai Filipino style. It was just so beautiful and charming. I wish I had more time to include that, but I ended up just including a bit of a snippet there. Um, and My friend in Germany, he actually shot a lot of things in his lab, and it was all really fascinating to me. But at the same time, this isn't like a science documentary, so I felt like I ended up trimming a lot of it out. But yeah.
That's wonderful. And is there anything else? So from that footage that you couldn't use, do you have any plans on using any of it for a future project or?
Yeah, definitely. My well, um, so when my friends and I agreed to make this film, I made sure that we all co-owned it. So we everyone owned the footage that they shot, basically, and they were free to do whatever they like with it. And so my friend in Canada, Kenneth Cardenas, um, you know, as a result of this, this our film finally being released, and he said recently that he is really interested in exploring the footage that he shot more and possibly creating a full-length documentary about the Filipino experience in Toronto, which I'm really, really excited about. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you have 2 years of footage that you collectively share that then spawn into new films and new projects. So I love that model. Is there anything else about your film that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, definitely. So, um, so I talked about it a bit. We all co-own this film. We're all co-directors, even though I basically came up with the idea, but um, but this film is meant basically for everyone. I intended it as a way to inspire people to tell their own stories as well. Um, for filmmaking to be as accessible as possible, and you could kind of see it in our footage. It's a lot of it is very amateurish, and we shot it all in just like a little, uh consumer type video camera, handheld video camera that we just mailed around to each other. But yeah, I don't believe in like as much in like auteur cinema or anything. um I would love for everyone who watched this film to come out inspired to tell their own stories. And yeah.
I love that. And are there any other projects you're working on, filmmaking or otherwise, that you want to share with our audience? And how can they follow you?
Well, right now that this film is finally over, now that I've finally finished this. This is my first full length film effort, actually. Um, my next project is finishing my my dissertation.
We
Yeah,
can
just
call you Dr. Alarilla.
I don't know, we'll see.
And what
Yeah.
is your dissertation on?
It is about the history of Filipino migration across the
Perfect.
Pacific. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And one chapter is definitely about personal documentary genre and its significance in Filipino and diasporic Filipino cinema. So yeah, I might even be able to talk a bit about my film.
I was just gonna say, absolutely. That's great. Okay, well, where can our audience follow your work?
Oh yeah. Um, I guess you can follow me. Um, I have a website. It's just my name, adrianalarilla.com. Yeah, not super active on social media, but oh, I guess my Instagram is mush patatas, mushpatatas. It's kind of like mashed potato, but make it Filipino or something.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you as well, Catherine. Take care.
And thank you all for joining us in the 10th annual Seattle Asian American Film Festival. Make sure to check us out at www.seattleaaff.org and follow us on social media. We appreciate you and hope you continue to enjoy the festival. We have more great programs available virtually from March 3rd through 13th, 2022. I can repeat that again. We appreciate you and hope you continue to enjoy the fun. I don't know why I'm messing up. Oh my God.
You're good.
Stop video and record again.
No worries. It's easy to edit that out. Don't worry.
Okay. I don't know why I'm laughing. Oh, okay. Since I'm just going now, I'm laughing because I'm like, I forgot to check this. Is it seattleaaff.org or should I say the bit.ly at SAAFF 2022? Seattleaaff.org is easier, but you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Seattleaaff.org should be fine.
Okay. All right. So let me just fix this. I need to edit this whole section out. Okay. Oh, I messed up. Okay. All right. Thank you again for joining the 10th annual Seattle Asian American Film Festival. Make sure to check us out at www. Why am I messing up? Okay. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry.
No worries. You're good.
God. Thank you again for joining the 10th annual Seattle Asian American Film Festival. Make sure to check us out at www.seattleaaff.org and follow us on social media. We appreciate you and hope you continue to enjoy the festival. We have more great programs available virtually from March 3rd through 13th, 2022. Take care. Thank you. Good night.